Bastion is an action role-playing game where you play as a kid that travels across the ruined floating environments in the aftermath of an apocalyptic event known as the Calamity. Unlike most role-playing games, Bastion tells a great narrative without the use of cutscenes and in-game text. Instead, mechanics that work hand-in-hand with sounds and visuals are used to tell the story of loss, rebuilding, and moving on. The main attraction of Bastion is the narrator that reacts to the player's actions. In Bastion, the storyteller Rux tells a story about the kid to Zia, who the kid meets at a later time in the game. Since the game is a story about a character the player controls, Rux will narrate and react to the player's actions from the moment the kid gets up. The narration itself makes most of the mechanics in the game meaningful, with literal narrative, by supplying context, lore, and even a joke or two behind most actions. Even falling off the sides will be responded to.
Keeps telling himself he better watch his step.
This is a great example of how games can use sound to make literal narrative mechanics that make up the gameplay and drive the plot forward. Adding to the theme of rebuilding, the kid is tasked with rebuilding a structure known as the Bastion, where survivors of the Calamity are supposed to head towards to fix the Calamity itself. During the kid's travels, the kid will find cores that will add to the power of the Bastion, making it expand and grow powerful enough to undo the Calamity. With every core added to the Bastion, the player chooses what buildings are placed in Bastion, giving more freedom to customize the world accordingly to their needs, despite Rux's supposed seniority in the situation. This gives the player the sense of power as they are affecting the world that everybody is living in this game. It is up to the player to rebuild the Bastion in the image of Celondia, the world of this game, and to try to undo the Calamity. The Bastion essentially acts as a safe central hub for the player to return to after traveling somewhere to catch their breath, change weapon loadouts, and interact with other characters before traveling to the next level. It is akin to the Eye of the Storm, as it is connected to just about every area in the game. Even though the player gets to choose what buildings are placed in the Bastion, the narrator Rux will provide feedback and little bits of lore whenever a building is placed down. Also, the Bastion acts as a show of progression. With every core added and building built, the Bastion grows visibly bigger and more powerful. In Bastion, the player will come across many different kinds of weapons and drinks. However, as the player is only controlling a normal character, they can only carry a set number of weapons or drinks at a time. Hence, at the Bastion and at several points in different levels, the player can change their loadouts at specialized buildings. The player is free to choose any combination of weapons and drinks to use in their travels, which can ultimately change their playstyles drastically. This allows a high degree of customization and replayability, as some levels play differently with different loadout combinations. The different weapons and drinks come from different backgrounds in the world of Celondia. However, the player uses them all in different combinations. This is akin to how people of different backgrounds can come together and work together to achieve something. The player uses all these weapons of different backgrounds to achieve the same goal, to get all the cores and shards and get the Bastion up and running. This helps the theme of rebuilding in a way that everyone has to come together to rebuild a new world together. In fact, the Calamity would not have happened had the two main people of the world, the Celondians and the Ura, worked together in the first place. Back in the gameplay, different loadouts also get some context or lore from the narrator, giving the player more insight into the history and usage of the weapons in the world. Near the ending, Zolf, a character the player saves, will betray him and sabotage the Bastion, leaving with his native people known as the Aura. Together with the Aura, the final shard that is required for the Bastion's recovery is taken back to their stronghold. The player will follow them and in turn find a battering ram. This weapon replaces the player's entire loadout due to its sheer size and will act as both a powerful weapon and a shield. The battering ram makes the player move slower and more susceptible to fast attacks, but is a lot more powerful and can destroy entire groups of enemies quickly. As Rux mentions it, the battering ram symbolizes the heavy weight of the Calamity. In the lore of the game, the battering ram was used by the Aura to attack the walls of the now ruined Celondia, so it comes full circle as the kid uses it on the Aura themselves. With the power of the battering ram, the player proves too much for the Aura people, blaming their losses on Zulf, who unintentionally brought the kid. The Aura turn on Zulf and leave him to die. As the player reaches Zulf, a choice appears to either leave Zulf or save him. This choice will affect how the final part of the game plays out. If the player leaves Zulf behind, they will face the entirety of what's left of the Aura, destroying them with the battering ram and ending a whole race of people in order to obtain the final shard and return to the Bastion. In contrast, saving Zulf makes the player abandon the battering ram to carry Zulf with him. The player then slowly walks forward with Zulf on his back and without any weapons or shields. The remaining Aura will attack the player, but as he continues, the Aura will cease fire and move out of the way to let the player through. The Aura have been fighting only for survival, but once they realized that the kid wasn't there to annihilate them and was only there to take the final shard and Zulf back, they stopped attacking as there is no need for more bloodshed. The circumstances give a lot of meaning to both choices. Leaving Zulf to die showcases the anger and vengeance seeking that first caused the Calamity and now causes the death of yet another race. In turn, saving Zulf showcases the willingness to forgive, make peace and rebuild.